Welcome back to the quarterly call. All content discussed here is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions. Today, we're diving into ServiceNow's Q3 2024 earnings. And let me tell you, this company is on fire. We've got excerpts from their official report, the investor presentation, and even the investor call transcript. So we're getting a full story, like from all angles.
Yeah, and it's a story of serious growth. ServiceNow just crushed their Q3 guidance with a 22.5% revenue jump, exceeding expectations by like 200 basis points. That means they beat their own predictions by a significant margin, which always gets investors excited.
Okay, 200 basis points. For those of us who don't speak fluent finance, what does that actually, translate to?
Think of it like this. If they expected 10% growth, they achieved 12%. Those extra 2 percentage points are the 200 basis points. And in the world of billion-dollar companies, that's a huge difference.
So where's all this growth coming from? So you're seeing a lot of buzz around their AI tools.
Absolutely. ServiceNow is hitting the sweet spot with their AI-powered automation, especially Now Assist, which is like a super-powered virtual assistant for businesses. We're not talking about small-scale adoption either. 44 of their customers are each shelling out over $1 million just for Now Assist.
Wow, $1 million per customer. That's a serious investment. What's driving that kind of spending?
It's not just about jumping on the AI bandwagon. These businesses are seeing real results. Now Assist is tackling those, like soul-crushing, repetitive tasks that bog down employees, freeing them up for more strategic, higher-value work. Think approving expense reports, routing service requests, or even generating routine reports, all automated, all happening in the background.
Okay, I can see how that would be appealing. Less time on tedious tasks means more time for innovation and creative problem solving.
Right. Exactly. And that's a huge win for both employee satisfaction and the bottom line. And get this, ServiceNow's CEO, Bill McDermott, describes their AI agents as like hiring an additional workforce to support people by doing the jobs they've never wanted to do in the first place. They're taking on the grunt work, allowing humans to focus on what they do best.
That's a pretty powerful message. It sounds like they're really hitting a nerve with businesses struggling to manage the growing complexity of their operations, especially with the rapid adoption of AI across all industries.
And this is where it gets even more interesting. ServiceNow isn't just automating tasks, they're taking a much broader approach with their new workflow data fabric.
Okay, workflow data fabric. That sounds pretty technical. Can you break it down for us?
Think of it as a universal translator for all the data living within a company's different systems. You know how frustrating it can be when information gets siloed in different departments, making it impossible to get a clear picture of what's happening. The workflow data fabric connects everything, creating a single source of truth for the entire organization.
So no more data black holes. Yeah. No more information getting lost in the shuffle. That sounds like a game changer, especially for large organizations with complex data landscapes.
And it is. This move is so significant that analysts are predicting it could double ServiceNow's total addressable market, or TAM.
Hold on, Tam. You're going to have to explain that one for me.
Sure. Total addressable market represents the overall revenue opportunity available for a product or service. In simple terms, it's the total amount of money a company could potentially make if they captured the entire market. And analysts believe this new workflow data fabric opens up so many new possibilities for ServiceNow that their TAM could essentially double, putting them in a whole new league.
So they're not just automating tasks. They're becoming the central nervous system for businesses, connecting everything and turning data into actionable insights. That's a pretty powerful position to be in. But is this just hype, or is there real substance behind it?
Well, if you look at their customer base, it speaks volumes. Some of the biggest names out there: the Defense Logistics Agency, Banco do Brasil, Veterans Affairs IT, Lloyd's Banking Group, they're all turning to ServiceNow for their AI-powered solutions.
That's an impressive roster. And it's not just about cost savings. It's about creating a better work experience for employees. Imagine you're freed from the tyranny of those mind-numbing repetitive tasks and can finally focus on the work that truly engages and challenges you.
Exactly, and that's precisely what ServiceNow is enabling. Happy employees are productive employees, and productive employees are a key ingredient for any successful business.
It sounds like ServiceNow is really hitting the mark on multiple levels. They're addressing the pain points of businesses, improving the lives of employees, and generating significant investor interest.
And they're not stopping there. They're building an entire ecosystem around their platform, going beyond just selling software. They're partnering with major players like NVIDIA to develop even more sophisticated AI agents, and Rimini Street to tap into the massive market of legacy ERP systems.
Speaking of partnerships, what's the significance of this collaboration with Rimini Street? I'm not familiar with them.
Rimini Street specializes in providing support and maintenance for companies still running those older, sometimes outdated enterprise resource planning systems, or ERPs. They have a huge customer base, and this partnership allows ServiceNow to reach a whole new market of businesses that might not have considered their solutions before.
It's like they're creating a bridge between the old and the new, helping businesses modernize their operations without having to rip and replace their existing systems, which can be incredibly disruptive and expensive.
And they're also investing heavily in training and development, creating their own university to train millions of people on their platform. This is huge because it ensures a steady stream of talent. Who can implement and leverage ServiceNow's solutions effectively?
So they're not just building a product, they're building an army of skilled users. They're really covering all the bases.
They are. And that ties back to McDermott's emphasis on ServiceNow being a safe haven for businesses in uncertain economic times. Companies crave stability and proven results. And ServiceNow's consistent overperformance and focus on solving complex problems make them a reliable choice.
Safe haven. That's a powerful word, especially given the current economic climate. Businesses are looking for partners they can trust, solutions that deliver tangible value, and a sense of security in a volatile world.
And ServiceNow is delivering on all fronts. Their focus on AI-powered automation, data integration, and employee empowerment, along with their impressive growth and strategic partnerships, make them a force to be reckoned with in the tech industry.
They certainly seem to have all the right ingredients for success, but with all this growth, all this ambition, it does make you wonder, are there any potential downsides to this aggressive strategy?
That's a great question, and one we should definitely explore further. Rapid growth can sometimes lead to its own set of challenges, and we'll unpack those when we return after a quick break.
It's true that scaling up at such a rapid pace can come with its own set of hurdles. Think about it like building a rocket ship while it's already blasting off.
That's a pretty intense visual, and I imagine it applies to things like integrating all those new acquisitions they've made, managing a rapidly expanding workforce, and making sure their company culture doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
Exactly. Those are all very real challenges that ServiceNow will need to navigate carefully. And let's not forget about the competitive landscape. Right now, they're leading the pack in workflow automation and AI for businesses. But the tech world moves fast.
So who are the contenders snapping at their heels? Any big names we should be watching?
Definitely keep an eye on giants like Microsoft and Salesforce. They've got the resources and the reach to ramp up their efforts in this space and could become serious rivals. And you never know when a disruptive startup might emerge with a game-changing innovation.
It's like a constant race to stay ahead of the curve, especially in the tech industry where things change so rapidly.
Absolutely. And then there's the question of execution. Can ServiceNow maintain this impressive pace of innovation? Will they be able to integrate all these new products and technologies seamlessly into their existing platform? Sometimes rapid growth can lead to a bit of a Frankenstein situation if you're not careful.
It's like trying to fit too many puzzle pieces together. Without a clear picture of what the final image should look like, things could get clunky or overly complicated.
And that's something investors will be scrutinizing for sure. Another factor to consider is the broader macroeconomic climate. We're in uncertain times, and while ServiceNow seems to be weathering the storm pretty well so far, a prolonged economic downturn could definitely impact their growth trajectory.
That makes sense. If businesses start tightening their belts and delaying big projects, it's going to affect everyone, even a company as successful as ServiceNow.
Right. In those situations, companies often prioritize essential spending, so it's crucial for ServiceNow to maintain that safe haven status. They need to keep proving that their solutions are not just nice-to-haves, but must-haves that help businesses not just survive, but thrive even in tough times.
So it's all about demonstrating that clear return on investment, proving that their AI tools and automation can really move the needle for businesses.
Precisely. And their expanding partner ecosystem will play a key role in that. By collaborating with companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, even Snowflake and Databricks, they're not just enhancing their own offerings, but also tapping into a wider network of potential customers and resources.
It's like creating this powerful network effect, where each partnership amplifies their reach and impact, making them an even bigger player in the market.
Exactly. And it allows them to stay ahead of the curve. integrating the latest advancements in AI, data analytics, and cloud computing into their platform. They're constantly evolving, adapting to the changing needs of the market, and making sure they stay one step ahead of the competition.
Now, let's circle back to this workflow data fabric. You mentioned it could be a game changer. What are the potential implications for businesses, especially those struggling with data silos?
Imagine a world where you can access and analyze all your company's data in real time, regardless of where it's stored. No more digging through spreadsheets. No more waiting for different departments to share information. The workflow data fabric breaks down those barriers, creating a single, unified view of your business.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but I imagine it requires a pretty significant shift in mindset for many organizations. It's not just about adopting a new piece of software, it's about fundamentally changing how they think about and manage their data.
You're absolutely right. It requires a culture shift towards becoming more data-driven, embracing the power of AI to automate and optimize processes across the entire organization. And that can be a daunting prospect for some companies.
Especially for those who've been doing things a certain way for years, maybe even decades. It's like asking them to switch from a horse and buggy to a self-driving car. It's a big leap.
But for those willing to embrace this new way of working, the potential rewards are enormous. Imagine being able to respond to changing market conditions in real time, identify new opportunities, and make decisions with lightning speed. That's the kind of agility that the workflow data fabric enables.
It's like taking the human element out of the equation, or at least minimizing it, which raises the question, what happens to the humans in this scenario? Are they being replaced by robots?
That's a common fear, but it's not the vision ServiceNow is promoting. Remember, their whole message is about putting AI to work for people. Their goal isn't to replace humans, but to augment their capabilities, freeing them from those repetitive, soul-crushing tasks so they can focus on more strategic and creative work.
So it's about collaboration between humans and machines, leveraging the strengths of both to achieve better outcomes.
Exactly, and that's what makes ServiceNow's approach so compelling. They're not just focused on the technology itself, but on how it can be used to empower people and drive real business value.
It's a very human-centric approach to AI, which is refreshing to see, especially in a world where technology is often viewed with suspicion or even fear.
Absolutely, and it's a key differentiator for ServiceNow. They're positioning themselves as a force for good, a partner that can help businesses harness the power of AI in a responsible and ethical way.
And that message seems to be resonating with customers. They're not just buying a product, they're buying into a vision, a belief that AI can be a force for positive change in the workplace.
And that vision is backed by a solid track record of execution. ServiceNow has consistently delivered on their promises, and their Q3 earnings are just the latest proof point. They've got the momentum, the talent, and the vision to become a truly dominant player in the AI-powered business transformation space.
It sounds like they're rewriting the playbook for the future of work.
And the future of business itself. They're not just automating tasks, they're automating entire workflows. And that's a fundamental shift that has the potential to reshape entire industries.
It's a bold vision.
Yeah.
And it'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely. But for now, let's shift gears a bit and consider what all of this means for you, our listener.
So why should someone tuning into this deep dive care about ServiceNow's success? How does it relate to their own work and career?
That's a great question. Regardless of your industry or specific role, the trends we're seeing here are likely to impact you in some way. AI and automation are rapidly transforming the workplace, and companies like ServiceNow are at the forefront of this change.
So if you're in a job that involves, like, managing complex workflows or dealing with data silos, ServiceNow's approach is definitely worth, studying.
Absolutely. And even if your role isn't directly related to those areas, their focus on AI-powered automation, data integration, and employee empowerment offers valuable insights for anyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve in this rapidly changing work environment.
It seems like they're really pushing for a future where technology works for people, not the other way around. Less drudgery, more creativity, and more opportunities to focus on the work that truly matters.
Precisely. And that's a vision I think we can all get behind. Who wouldn't want a work life with less busy work and more meaningful contributions?
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into ServiceNow's Q3 performance, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder. With their AI-first strategy, their growing ecosystem of partners, and this relentless focus on growth, could ServiceNow be the next mega giant in tech? Could they be on track to become a $30 billion company? Or even bigger?
It's certainly a possibility and one that investors are watching very closely, but it's not without its challenges. They'll need to navigate the complexities of rapid growth, stay ahead of fierce competition, and prove that they can deliver consistent value in a potentially volatile economic climate.
There's always that element of risk, that what-if factor that keeps things interesting. But what we've seen from ServiceNow so far suggests they're playing the long game, and they're playing it smart.
And for our listeners, I think the key takeaway here is that the future of work is evolving rapidly. Companies like ServiceNow are shaping that future. And whether you're an investor, a business leader, or just someone who's curious about the impact of technology on our lives, it's a story worth following.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for listening to the Quarterly Call. If you enjoyed it, make sure to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.